Hey guys, how are you doing today? Let me lower this. Got a little overhead going on. You don't need to see all that on the top. All right, how are you doing today, guys? It is Friday. I'm giving you a little Friday night delight. What time is it? It's like 6:27. So I wanted to do an Ask Me Wiley tonight. Since it is free game Friday here on Facebook, I'll be uploading this on YouTube. So if you're not on either or, if you're not following me on either or, feel free to do so right now, wherever you're watching this from. And I wanted to talk about red flags. So I opened up Kira.com, where a lot of people ask me their questions for Ask Me Wiley. And one of the first questions out of the 104 questions, y'all remember when I told y'all that I used to do Ask Me Wiley Wednesdays and when nobody asking me no questions? Well, I came right on here today and it said that 104 people had some questions for me. So look at God. All right. So it says, are there always red flags in a relationship? And this question reminds me of the session. It made me think of the session I had last night. So I'll give you that. So there's a young lady that I've been coaching for quite some time. And if you're watching this, go ahead, give me some thumbs up. I'm still in the shadow band. Your thumbs up, hearts, laughs, whatever you want to put. Give me an emoji up in here. It'll help my video get pushed out there. And so my actual followers that I grew to this page will be able to see this video versus like 1% of my 2,000 plus followers. Thank you in advance. Thank you so much. All right. My hair is buck wild. Okay. Got it off. All right, guys. So the question, all right. So as far as red flags go, I was talking to my client last night, been coaching her for a few months now, and she had a very bad experience, traumatic experience, dating experience with the last guy she dated. And so now she literally just does not want to engage with men, which that's not healthy, that's not balanced. So we got to find balance, right? So when she was asking me is, she was telling me actually that the last guy, because she did get two guys the opportunity to holler at her and she entertained it. And the last guy she entertained, she said all she was doing, and I'm paraphrasing, she was basically waiting on the shoe to drop, waiting for a red flag to pop up, waiting to check out because she's bitter. She owns it. She's bitter from the last relationship and she's finding it hard to forgive that guy who she had that dating experience with. And I had to tell her, if you're looking for something, the universe is going to work hard to give you that something. So if you're looking for someone to mess up, you're looking to have a bad day. If you wake up and like, oh my gosh, everything is going wrong. Or if you wake up in the morning and say everything is going right, it can go in either way. So if you're dating right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm waiting. I done had all these previous experiences that did not work in my favor. And I done met Johnny today and I'm waiting for Johnny to mess up because he is a red flag. I am waiting to see these red flags. So if you're that kind of person, don't be that kind of person. Take that experience for what it was. Take the lesson out of it. There's always a lesson out of not so good experiences. Then apply it to your life. Trust me. All the negative experiences I've had, not so good experiences I've had specifically in relationships as a whole, whether that be friendships or romantic relationships, there's always a lesson. And I'm just so grateful for that experience. Not necessarily grateful for that person, because typically they're not people I care to even look at, hear from, or see, but I'm grateful for that experience. So think about it that way. So back to the question. Are there always red flags in relationships? Yeah. Everybody is a red flag in some sort of way. Not meaning that a red flag so much so that it's like a deal breaker. No. Someone can be a red flag to you. It depends on what you like, what you desire, what you believe in, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Somebody could be a red flag if they say they don't smoke and then you see them smoking marijuana. It's just like, wait a minute now. Are you a liar? But really at the end of the day, a lot of people say they don't smoke. When you ask if they smoke, that means they don't smoke cigarettes, but they do smoke other things. So I guess you have to be more specific. And a lot of us could be a red flag if someone has certain religious beliefs and then you don't. Like you believe in God, but they don't believe in anything. And that you might take that as a red flag. Another person might consider a red flag when someone says, hey, I'm going to call you tonight at 9 o'clock. And yet every night at 9 o'clock, they don't call you, but they call you first thing in the morning. They initiate the conversation first thing in the morning. So that's a red flag. Like, are you a liar? Are you just slipping your mind? Or are you just busy? What's going on there? At the end of the day, it's on you and your standards, your boundaries, your morals to determine what is or is not a red flag. All right. So that's the first question. That was the end of that first question. That was pretty quick, pretty direct. Let me see if I can find another question here. Why is it so hard for me to get in a relationship with this person I like, and he also likes me? Well, first of all, ain't nothing hard about any kind of relationship. It's the people that make it hard. So, if you like her, she likes you, yeah, y'all not together, that may mean that somebody don't want to be with somebody. Because if somebody did, y'all would be together. So think about it when it comes to friendships. If you know that you're wanting to be this person's friend, you want to hang out with them, you set up dates, they either can't come, they cancel at the last minute, and or they don't show up, that's a sign that they don't want to be your friend. And if as far as when you're dating and both of you like each other, that doesn't necessarily mean you're meant to be with each other, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be with each other. So if you like them and they like you, I'm old school. So it's he who finds a wife. So if he ain't trying to get with you in a relationship, and if he ain't trying to make it exclusive, and if he is not trying to commit to you, then he don't want you. Bottom line. He might like you, but that's okay. We like trees and we like flowers in the forest. But that doesn't mean we gonna like spend our days and nights with the trees and the flowers in the forest. It just means we like what we see. But that doesn't mean that they necessarily want to be with you. So if you're in a situation like this young lady, and she is in a reciprocated likeness with someone, however, getting in a relationship is hard, that's referring back to the first question. That's a red flag. Why is that a red flag? I'm going to try to tie all these Ask Me Wileys in together. So I'm tying the first one and the second one. So that's a red flag, because if he likes you and you like him, maybe he doesn't like you romantically. Maybe that's what it is. Because anything that a guy wants, a guy is going to go for. It'd be different if you didn't feel the same, but you do feel the same. So it's probably like he does like you. He just don't like you like that. So your best bet is to just keep it moving. Don't ask him, hey, I know you like me and I like you, so how come you ain't asked me to be with you? Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, we're going to move right along. We knocking them. We lining them up, knocking them down. Let's see. Oh, this one right here. These long distance relationships are something. Here's one right here. Is it normal to only send one message in 5 or 6 days during a long distance relationship? This is for the first time I've had this kind of relationship. I don't know what he is doing. Should I stay or leave? It's been 3 months in our relationship. All right, number one, if you don't have to be in a long distance relationship, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm watching, Married at First Sight, and I believe her name is Jasmina. Jasmina, I love that name. She is the girl on there married to Michael, and she's only had, I believe that she's the one that's only been in long distance relationships. And if you've never been in a close up in your face relationship with someone that you can see every day, all day at your leisure, then it's going to be different. So if you can be with someone that's right there in your vicinity at arm's length, and you can just get to them within 30 minutes to an hour, I'd say choose that. Try to weigh your options where you're at, because when it gets to long distance, it's a lot of moving parts, and it takes a lot of communication. And as we know, outside of finances, communication is the one thing that screws up any kind of relationship. So do the best as you can and try to find someone in your area. Now, for this young lady asking this, is it normal to only send one message in 5 or 6 days during a long distance relationship? Absolutely not. One message, that's insane. You're not even talking, you're talking 1% of the time in the week, I guess. I don't know math, but hey, that sounds ridiculous. So on Monday, he sends a message, and then you don't hear from him again till Saturday or Sunday. Like, that's insane. No, it's not normal. She says this is her first time she's had this kind of relationship, so she doesn't know. She's curious. She's asking, I don't know what he is doing. Okay, if you don't know what he's doing, why don't you ask him? Here we go again with the communication. And here we go again. Let's tie it in. This is a red flag. And it sounds like the other party in the relationship may like her, but don't want to be in a relationship. See, I told you I'm tying them all together. This is the third Ask Me Wiley that I just tied them all together. So if this is your first time in this kind of long distance relationship, understand the communication. Number one, don't even get into a long distance relationship if you find yourself having issues with communicating with someone who's right there in the vicinity with you. So if you have a previous pattern of not being able to communicate effectively in your previous relationships, if that's been one of the issues you've had previously in your relationships, then you need to rethink having a long distance relationship altogether. Matter of fact, just don't even do it, because that's insane. Because if you can't communicate with someone right there looking at you eyeball to eyeball, how in the world do you think you're going to be able to communicate with someone you can't see, you can't have access to, you can't show up at their job for lunch, you can't pick them up from work to go on a rendezvous? Like, you need to think this over. Then she says, should she stay or leave? Well, that's jumping the gun. First of all, you don't just up and bounce out of a relationship that you've been in. Remember, you address it. So if you have a problem with your partner that's long distance and you're like, well, why do you only reach out to me once a week? And are you waiting for him to reach out to you? Or are you reaching out to him? Like, is it a one-sided thing? Can we not get on the same page and like get out of the messaging and actually pick up the phone and talk? And so what I mean by that, you need to address it. Address how you feel. Say, hey, babe, why are we only talking on Monday and then I don't hear from you again and we don't engage again even when I reach out? If you're reaching out, I don't know. You didn't put that in here. But I'm just saying, if you're reaching out, why are we only then talking again until Saturday? Like, that's insane. Imagine if the person was right there where you at. Would you talk to him on Monday and then be okay with never hearing from him again till Saturday? Like, put things in perspective. That don't even make sense. That's not even a relationship. That sounds like you're like a side piece, and you barely a side piece, because typically if you're a side piece, you're going to get talked to more than once a week, especially if we got text messaging. He's going to probably talk to you every day. If you don't pick up the phone, that's the easy way to talk to you if you are a side piece. Not saying you are, but it's a little red flaggish up in here. So no, you shouldn't. You should address it, and then you act accordingly. If what he's saying, like if he says, oh my gosh, I've been so busy, I don't even think about it. I'm working 12-hour shifts. Then I got to come home and care for my mother. Then I got to find some time to sleep. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'll do better. And then you watch him. And then if he starts to do better, then you can say, hey, you can stay. But if he say, you know what, girl, I've been busy. And when I'm not busy, you know I got work. And when I am at work, I'm at the gym and with my boys. Chill out. That's when you need to leave, because that's bull crap. All right. She says it's been 3 months and they only been together 90 days. No, you got to address it. It's number one, it's not normal to only talk to your person once a week via text message, long distance or not long distance. Number two, address it. Address it with him. See what he says. Listen to your gut. Act accordingly. Number three, it's been 90 days. It's been 90 days. That's not long at all. Hopefully he has a good reason. If he doesn't, set yourself free. All right, guys, that was B. Wiley. I actually did 3 back-to-back questions, and I was able to entangle the 3 from the red flag to why is it so hard for us to be together if we like each other to this long-distance nonsense. So thank you so much for submitting your questions on Quora.com, Quora.com. If you want to ask me a question, feel free. Coach B. Wiley on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And outside of that, if you want to follow me across all platforms, Coach B. Wiley on all the social media I just said. So don't just be following me in one place. And then you say, well, where is she? She missing. I ain't seen her. Is she doing this anymore? Absolutely. I show up every day. Typically, Instagram is every day. YouTube multiple times a week. TikTok a couple times a week. Twitter. Whatever I put on Twitter automatically, whatever I put on Instagram automatically goes on my Facebook and my Twitter. So go ahead, make sure you're following me, make sure you're subscribed. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to let me know. Talk to you later, guys. Happy Friday.